All right, hey Vikings fans, welcome in to another episode of the Skol Hop. I'm Evan.
And I'm Austin.
We're just a couple of dudes from Iowa. We like drinking beer and talking about the Vikings.
Yeah, and speaking of the Vikings, Ev, I have to say it. They're just not good this year.
Yeah, if the game against the Packers was any indication, no, they are not.
We do have some good news, though, for this episode. We tried a really good festive, time-specific beer from Reunion and Field Day Brewing.
Yeah, super good beer. And we also took a peek ahead at the Sam Darnold revenge game as the Vikings travel to Seattle.
Yeah, I think Sam Darnold's going to have plenty of opportunity to get as much revenge as he wants against his former team. But until then, go ahead and grab a cold one and join us for episode 115 of the Skol Hop.
Skol?
Skol.
All right, we're going to give a quick shout out to That's Badass Wood Art. In fact, we have a piece of their wood art right here, right front and center if you're watching us on YouTube or Spotify. They have an awesome setup and they can make pretty much anything for you. They've got some just kind of generic pieces. It's not just Viking stuff. Mm-hmm. I mean, they would probably make you like a Bears thing, I guess.
If you paid him, I guess that would work.
I think he's a Minnesota guy, though. So definitely, I think, enjoys making Vikings-themed things. But we'll make anything. We're in conversations right now with getting some custom Skol Hop stuff made. Wherever you're at, and even if you're not a sports fan, reach out to them. Go to their website, that's badasswoodart.com, and use our promo code SKOLHOP. It's all one word. That'll save you 10% on any and all purchases through That's Badass Wood Art.
Yeah.
Great time to do so. Holidays are coming up. We're looking for gifts for people. So hit them up if you've got an idea for some sort of wood art.
Yeah. I will say we do have a mutual friend who reached out trying to get a custom piece and was told that it probably wouldn't work custom pieces right now for Christmas.
Sure.
But I'm sure if you're trying to order something that's already made, it would be well within enough time to get shipped over to you. But yeah, I really like it. I'm actually really excited for us to get our Skol Hop piece, whatever we decide to do, so that I could take this piece back home and put it in my own basement man cave. So yeah, really good stuff. Skol Hop, all one word, as the promo code there for 10% off. Thank you. That's Badass Wood Art.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah. All right, Ev. Sunday was a very special day. It was a glorious day with magical things happening. And no, I'm not talking about the Vikings. Evan, it was your birthday on Sunday, the day the Vikings really crapped the bed against the Packers. So I'm sorry that happened.
Yeah, your description did not quite add up to the experience that I lived out, but that's okay.
But
I appreciate the kind words.
Yeah, like I texted you, we've all had the Vikings let us down in the worst spot ever. My birthday is right around the time, it has routinely landed on, the Super Bowl has landed on my birthday before. So the Vikings have the chance to rip my heart out. It'll probably never happen, I guess, at this rate. But if they ever made the Super Bowl, they've got the chance to rip my heart out on my birthday too. But Evan, happy birthday. I may have gotten you a little bit of something. So if you're not watching us on YouTube or Spotify, you should probably switch over to there now. I did get Evan a gift, so happy birthday.
Shake it, see what it is.
Careful. It might bite.
Oh, look at that. These are 3D Stadium. Oh, there's two things.
Yeah.
Nice. So, two things here. 3D Stadium replica coasters. That's really cool. Got the nice inlay of US Bank Stadium there. I know exactly where we've sat. Both you and I at several games now. And then a bottle opener, which we'll keep right here at the Skol Man Center.
There you go.
But a Vikings helmet bottle opener. I almost bought some bottles for our beer tonight.
Oh, that would have been perfect.
We'll get to our beer in a little bit, but maybe that one was more of a Christmassy beer, and we're coming up on Christmas, so maybe that one will make an appearance, and we'll get to christen this thing. So,
yeah, that one's cool because the face mask of the Vikings helmet is what actually opens the bottle, and it's a magnet. So
yeah, that's cool.
That's pretty cool.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, no problem. Happy birthday.
Appreciate it.
I'm really sorry that the Vikings didn't give you a better gift than what they gave you.
All I really wanted was peace and quiet to watch the game, and my family gave me that.
Wow.
So
okay.
That was nice.
Interesting. Well, I'm glad that you were able to watch the whole game in peace and nothing caused you pain during that experience at all.
Oh, don't get me wrong. It was a frustrating game, and I was yelling at the TV the whole time. But that's beside the point. We got to spin the wheel, man.
Oh, I thought you were going to say beer, but you're right. We do have to spin the wheel because we were idiots in the preseason and predicted the Vikings to beat the Packers. I predicted it. You predicted it. Both of our wives, all of our kids, even the coin predicted a Vikings victory over the Packers, and it wasn't even close. It was further away from a victory than the infamous Josh Freeman Monday Night Football against the Giants game was. That was a closer game than this one against the Packers, and probably a better quarterback too. But because of that, we get to spin the wheel.
All right.
Yay.
And without further ado, here we go. We're running out of options, but we have to wear a Bears jersey.
So what do? We only have one.
Well, do you want to split it, and I'll wear it for half the episode, and you'll wear it for half the episode?
That's one way to go. We also have
Lions and Packers jerseys. We could just bite the bullet. You had to wear a Lions jersey already.
Yeah, I did, and that was not fun. I don't know. What do you think?
I'll be the bigger man. I'll take the Packers jersey. You can take the Bears jersey.
Yay! So we're gonna have to explain this at various points of the episode why we are wearing this garbage. I got all these jerseys on eBay. Spent very little amount of money. This Bears
one is terrible.
It's smelly. It's got a big old stain on the belly.
This just feels wrong.
Evan, I can't even look at you.
This feels wrong.
Ugh, that's awful. You know there's going to be screenshots probably.
No.
All right, I guess I'm going to put this thing on. Whew. At least I'll still have my Vikings hat on.
Put the Vikings hat back on. You need that. That is an important aspect of the ensemble here. But, you know, we did this to ourselves. I think that's the only thing we can say about it. And
this feels so wrong.
We should not have been so optimistic about the Vikings. We have plenty to talk about that way, because boy, oh boy, was Sunday a disappointing game.
That's the understatement of the season. Sunday was a game that took our hopes and dreams for not only Sunday, not only your birthday. Man, this jersey is not... There we go. But it took our hopes and dreams for the future, for the state of the franchise, for the state of the quarterback position. It was about as low as I have ever felt as a Vikings fan.
This is unrelated, but will maybe make you laugh. We're both wearing running back jerseys.
Yeah. I do have a Justin Fields #1, and you have Eddie Lacy
27. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is actually a nice jersey in terms of like
quality.
Yeah.
This one would be too, but this one was literally $1 on eBay. It's not like it smells like poop, but it needs a good wash and
some bleach maybe.
The stain you can't really see on the podcast, but it's there. Yeah, these jerseys look terrible.
Let's drink some beer and forget about that. Okay.
To my future children, to the future.
Your future children.
My children in the future. I'm not having future children. I have as many as I'm going to have. To my children in the future who are watching this, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. We need to drink some beer.
All right. I grabbed the beer tonight. This is Field Day Brewing, along with Reunion. I guess I didn't even really notice that. I thought it was just Reunion, but I think this is a collaboration between Field Day and Reunion, now that I'm inspecting the can a little more closely. This one's called Charlie's Brown Ale. It's the Great Pumpkin Spiced Brown Ale, and I think that's a play on Charlie Brown's Thanksgiving episode, the Charles Schultz cartoon. Definitely not Charles Schultz with the like the zombie getting his eye eaten out by a bird.
It's a zombie Charlie Brown, with his eye being pulled out by a hawk. That's not just a bird, it's some kind of hawk. And he's in the Great Pumpkin. It's actually pretty cool. I like this can art, and hopefully the beer is just as good.
I'll read the description quick. It looks like this is Reunion's beer, but in collaboration with Field Day. It says, brewed with our buddies at Field Day Brewing, this rich and bold brown ale is spiced with a cozy blend of cinnamon, fresh ginger juice, nutmeg, and vanilla. The perfect treat for tromping through the pumpkin patch or a ghoul's night out. So there you go.
Awesome.
It's dark.
It is a very dark looking beer. Even the foam on the top has got a nice dark color. I'm not getting an aroma yet. I figured I'd get like the spiced aroma.
Look at that! Look at the head retention on that. That's like 7/8 of the glass.
Yeah, what a pour, Ev. This is. I mean, usually when I hold the beer up, even if it's a darker one, I can see some light coming through with our studio lights here. Nothing. There's no light coming through at all, and I'm kind of excited. This is like a black ale, and it's probably going to be a little sweet. I'm excited to try it.
5%, by the way.
Not bad at all.
Not a heavy hitter.
Skol.
Skol. That's really rich. It's really the spice mix is really complex.
I figured.
I like that.
Does it say it's a? So I guess the title might be a little misleading. It says it's the Great Pumpkin Spiced Brown Ale. So I don't know if it's meant to have any pumpkin flavor.
It definitely has some, like the nutmeg and stuff. Kind of reminds me of like a pumpkin pie.
Yeah. But it's not like a straight up. I feel like we recently, or not terribly long ago, had like maybe it was even last year, had a legit like pumpkin ale.
I think it was this season.
And this one, I'm not getting, and I'm not complaining about it. I'm not getting a lot of pumpkin from it. I am getting the fall spices, the nutmeg, like you said, the fall spices. So I like it a lot, and I'm really glad that it's not overly pumpkin-y, because I'm not a huge fan of those like pumpkin pie ales.
This would be and I was drawn to this because this is Thanksgiving week. We're going to be celebrating with our families on Thursday. But this just looked like a good Thanksgiving beer. And like I said a little bit ago, I thought about reaching for a Christmas beer, and I'm like, no, not yet. We're not to Christmas yet. Although my family did convince me to put up our Christmas stuff.
I noticed you have not one, but I noticed at least 2 Christmas trees in your house.
We always have 2. We have the big one for the adults and the little one for the kids.
Nice. So. And only a little bit of judgment. They didn't look like real trees there, Ev.
Nope.
Man,
we don't do that.
You don't go and cut down the tree and
definitely not. And I know that you do.
Yeah.
And props to you for holding that tradition, but you will never see me at the tree farm with a saw. Well, first of all, a trip like that with my family would be chaotic. Second of all, my wife and I both agreed that a live tree in our house is not something that we'll ever do. We both grew up in fake tree families. I remember my parents having a real tree like once or twice, and so did my wife when she was a kid. And we both were like, yeah, the cats got in it. It was the needles went everywhere. It was a mess. So we're fake tree people for life.
All right.
We actually just bought a new tree.
Nice.
So
I saw you posted up your old one.
Yeah.
Yep.
The big tree's new. It's nice.
Nice. Yeah. I mean, it looks great, and you know what? That's really all that matters about the memories. But yeah, the real tree life. It's a fun experience. My kids every year they've gotten to go and help me cut the tree down by touching the saw as I move it a little bit, and then dragging the tree out. I always try to carry it instead of dragging it. I don't want to lose too many pine needles on the ground. But yeah, then you just keep it watered, and it's really not too bad.
Do you do a little Christmas vacation, put on the hockey mask and get the chainsaw and that whole thing?
I've never seen that movie.
You've never seen Christmas Vacation?
No.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's kind of like a thing about me. There's most movies I haven't seen. But yeah, no, why would I wear a hockey mask?
Because that's what Chevy Chase does, and it's hilarious.
All right.
You should watch it. It's good.
All right, I'll look it up sometime. But no, you go with a saw and you cut down and these trees are not difficult to cut down. I mean, you're talking like a 4-inch at the most, 3-4 inch diameter. 5 minutes a sawing and it's down. And and then you have a real tree in your house for a month.
And you know what I do? I just go to the basement. I get the 2 boxes out, bring it upstairs. I put the 3 pieces together, and I plug it in. And Merry Christmas, everybody!
There you go. I mean, all right, bah humbug to you too. No, I'm just kidding. Let us know in the comments if you're a real tree or a fake tree, and tell Evan why he's wrong for not getting a real tree.
We have a fake tree for the Skol Hop. We put it up last year.
Oh, we did. We had some lights up. You kind of went all out. I forgot about that.
It's all in a box right over here. It's coming out again.
I'm excited.
We'll deck the halls.
Keep your eyes peeled. We'll turn this place into Valhalla real quick.
On the beer note, really quick, episode 105, we had Back Pockets Pumpkin Ale. So that was just 10 episodes ago.
Yep, not too long ago. Back when we had hope.
Yeah.
For our team.
When was that? September 15th?
Yeah, that was we were still right before or right after the first game.
Yep, we were still very much like, all right, 12 wins, 11 wins. That's not even like mathematically possible anymore.
No,
I don't think.
They're 4-7 right now. Is that right?
Yeah, I think.
And so the most wins they could get is 10 wins. I don't see that happening. One thing that could be happening, though, is Max Brosmer potentially could start as many games this year as J.J. McCarthy. Today, Kevin O'Connell in his press conference announced, and of course, if you're listening to us at all and you follow the team, I'm not breaking any news here. But today, Kevin O'Connell announced that, I don't know if it was on the trip home from Green Bay or just overnight, J.J. McCarthy kind of... Well, the way Kevin O'Connell described it was kind of weird and really sketchy to me. But he basically said JJ was experiencing symptoms, and after their medical evaluators, and I think he even said like the independent doctor, which I guess I didn't really think about the fact that I knew they had like the independent neurologist on the sideline during game days. But it sounds like they just have one around all the time, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, after all that, they decided to put Jevin, this 5%er, man, it's really hitting me. They decided to put J.J. McCarthy into the concussion protocol. And if you've ever thought the term soft benching was appropriate at all this year, I think more so for me than the ankle injury, this is definitely a soft benching in my mind.
Well, let's be clear. As of right now, at 8:45 on Monday night, it's unclear whether or not JJ will play or not this coming week at Seattle, which is also the timing of it is interesting because it's the Sam Darnold reunion game.
Yep.
Playing at Seattle, playing against Sam Darnold, who led our favorite team to 14 wins last year. But as of right now, in this moment, J.J. McCarthy has not been ruled out.
And
he is in concussion protocol. And if he's ruled out because of his progress on the concussion protocol, then Max Brosmer will get the start, which I think a lot of Vikings fans are pounding the table for after 6 pretty rough games to start JJ's career. But we should start with some positives. There weren't many.
No.
But my rose, we'll do roses and thorns. My rose was that the run game seemed strong in the first half before they abandoned it.
Yeah.
There's a lot of caveats there. It seemed strong.
Well,
in the first half.
Eventually.
Before they went away from it, you know?
Once the score gets to be what it is, you kind of have to abandon the run a little bit.
Correct.
You can't stick with it. I think I didn't save the tweet. I don't know who tweeted it, and I don't remember exactly what it said. But I think somebody tweeted an actual stat that their planned run calls in the first half was the most percentage of running plays Kevin O'Connell had ever called in his head coaching career in the first half of a game. So there's something there. It's like Kevin O'Connell heard from the fans and maybe from other people who have more authority over him that, hey, don't abandon the run. You have to run the ball. And it almost feels like, fine, I'll run the ball, see what happens. And when it doesn't turn into wins either, it's like he's saying, like, see? That's why I'm not running the ball all the time. But yeah, I mean, it was working a little bit.
I think it was working, and I think that was when JJ was playing decent. I mean, he wasn't playing great. He wasn't playing lights out. No. But he was playing okay. And something I think we need to talk about, probably not right now on this thread because I want to hear your rows, but I think we need to talk about what we kept saying about JJ at the beginning of the season. And friend of the show, Dustin Baker, said this too. Mm-hmm. He just needs to be a good manager of the game. And he doesn't need to be great. He doesn't need to be the next Patrick Mahomes. He doesn't need to be, the next coming of Joe Montana. He just needs to be good. Mm-hmm. And it's interesting how far he's fallen even from that. Like, he's not good. He has not played well at all. He's played pretty bad. But in those moments in the first half, I thought to myself, okay, if they can just stick with the run, if they can just keep feeding Mason and Aaron Jones, I think I texted you at one point, like, man, it'd be awesome to see Aaron Jones get a Lambeau leap.
Yeah.
Of course, that never happened because the Vikings never found the end zone. Mm-hmm. But I think sticking with the run game could have been a little bit more beneficial, and I think there's got to be some balance to this offense, especially with the quarterback whiplash that we've had this year and the offensive line woes. And you've got another offensive line. You get two offensive linemen that went out in that game. I think mm-hmm. Didn't Donovan Jackson and Darisaw go down?
That's right.
So all the more reason, I think, to stick with the run in a lot of ways. But anyways, I want to hear your rows.
Well, my rows, if we're still looking for silver linings here, Will Reichard. I mean, his first kick attempt was the 59-yarder, I believe. Mm-hmm. Just a heck of a kick outside in Lambeau. I don't remember. I don't know exactly how windy it was.
I don't think it was too bad,
but it was still outside in Lambeau, a 59-yarder. That's a tough kick for anybody. And Will Reichard, I think he's something like 8 for 10 on 50-plus yard kicks this year, something like that. You can please correct me if I'm wrong on that, but he has been automatic all year long. I think, and I'm pretty positive on this, maybe you can fact check me on this too.
Yeah, he's 8 of 10 from 50-plus.
Yeah, and those two, I think, were the ones that people think he may have
hit the wires.
Hit the wire, yeah. But in his career, he's never missed an extra point. And so all of last season and then, so far this season. And he's only ever missed, let's just do it really quick. He missed 2 kicks last year, and he's up to 6 kicks this year. So 8 kicks out of 53.
I'm only counting 2 kicks missed this year.
You're still looking at the 50-plus.
What? Sorry, I guess I'm confused. What?
Yeah, this year...
Re-say what you said.
This year, Will Reichard, overall in field goal, is 21 for 23.
Yes.
And last year, he was 24 for 30. And remember last year, he kind of dealt with a little bit of...
injury issues.
Well, he got injured, and then when he came back, he was still kind of figuring himself out. I think that's where most of those missed kicks are. So in his career, he's 45 for 53 of any field goal.
That makes more sense to me now.
Yep. Out of 24 games he's played. And then, again, he's a perfect 57 for 57 on extra points. Will Reichard, that's for his whole career. He's been automatic, one of the better Kwesi Adofo-Mensah draft picks, which for a kicker, the Vikings have had a long history of kicking woes. Mm-hmm. So feels good to finally have that position wrapped up. And it was the same yesterday. He only attempted 2 field goals, but he made both of them. Both of them were 50-plus yard field goals. So
I picked him up in fantasy. He got me 10 points. It was awesome.
Yeah, because those longer ones
are
get
worth
you
more.
Yeah, in most leagues. I've heard of, there's another podcast, The Norse Code, and I've brought this up on our show before, but they have an annual, I forget what they call it, but it's a league where I think the scoring is the same, throughout everything else in the league, but kickers, if they miss any kick, and I think it's any kick, extra points or field goals, it's minus 25 points. So it could totally derail your entire week if your kicker misses one kick.
You got to have a good kicker on your roster.
Yeah, I think that's like the death league or whatever they call it. But yeah, Will Reichard would be the perfect kicker to have in a league like that, because every kicker is going to miss one or two at least throughout their year. But yeah, Will Reichard so far perfect, and perfect yesterday. That's why he was my rose.
All right, thorns. Mine is no surprise, and we will definitely talk about this ad nauseum for the rest of the episode, but JJ just does not add up to be an NFL quarterback in the 6 games, and I think we're finally at a point where the sample size is big enough to be able to say that he's not there. And that's not to say that he can't get there eventually, but in history and in my lifetime, I don't know that we've ever seen a quarterback play worse through 6 games that magically gets it turned around. I know like a couple weeks ago people were saying, well, Peyton Manning's first year was really bad, and I think there were some other big names thrown out there. I saw there's a commercial I think that's going to come out, or there's some, maybe it's not a commercial, maybe it's in like a Netflix show, but Peyton Manning was rubbing his brother about 0.0 QBR or something, and asking like, what does it take to attain a 0.0 QBR? So obviously there have been like quarterbacks that have played worse than JJ's playing, but I think over the course of 6 weeks he hasn't really shown a lot of signs of improvement. He hasn't shown any growth, no adapting to anything. His footwork, I'm not a quarterback coach at all, but his footwork does not seem to be good, which is really the base of what a quarterback needs to be successful. And the game just, it seems like it moves too fast for him.
He looks completely lost out there.
Yes.
Save for every game, he's had 1 or 2 or 3 passes where it's like, oh my gosh, I can't even imagine how any quarterback would throw a pass like that. I'm thinking in this Packers game, that one that he made to Justin Jefferson for 18 yards. It was a rainbow, perfectly placed ball, and Justin Jefferson, the defender was right there, but Jefferson showed why he's the best receiver in football and made the catch, and it wasn't even like one where they had to look at it. It was just a perfectly executed throw and catch, and that was it from J McCarthy. Like, nothing else. Literally nothing else was as good as that one play. Yeah, you're absolutely right.
What about you? Yours is pretty thorny.
Mine is my thorn that I just was feeling about the state of the franchise during the game. Everything is falling apart. We have the NFL Coach of the Year from last year who seemingly is lost, and his press conferences make it look like, right before he walked in the room, somebody told him his entire family died in a plane crash, and now he's got to go answer questions about a football team. That's like the attitude he's like coming across as. Obviously, J.J. McCarthy, we had so many high hopes for him, and the bare minimum we had, like you said, and like you said what Dustin Baker said before the season, the best thing was that J.J. McCarthy, the best thing about this team in this year was that J.J. McCarthy didn't even have to be as good as Sam Darnold. He didn't even have to be an MVP. He just needed to be good. Excuse me. He needed to be what Carson Wentz kind of was in the few games that he played, save for playing through the injury. So the quarterback, there's just no future there. Nothing. I mean, it feels like you said, it's not that he can't turn around, but I don't see how he can. Every time I looked at Twitter today, I seemed to see another, all 22 play where it's like, all right, here's a sack of JJ's, but look how many receivers are open. And there's like throughout the course of a 6-second play before he gets sacked, there ends up being like, oh, JJ's open. Oh, Jalen Naylor, he could have had him right there. Oh, TJ Hawkinson looks like he was open. And then boom, sacked. Special teams. Oh. My goodness. You get, even in this Packers game, everything, it was frustrating, but it was kind of even. I was thinking like, man, this is a boring game until Miles Price let the punt go and then it's a rookie mistake. It bounces back and touches him, and it's a turnover. That's just a straight up turnover, and then the Packers get an easy touchdown 2 plays later. Defense, you never know. I mean, if the offense were playing up to snuff, a defense that only gives up 23 points to a pretty decent Packer team, that's not bad. But when the offense can't do anything, that just extrapolates, whatever else every other phase has in mistakes at all, so the defense makes it look even worse. The offense only had 44 plays in this whole game, and I remember a couple weeks ago when the offense had like 58 plays, and even then KOC was saying like, yep, we didn't have too many plays. It's not enough plays to have as an offense. That was 18 more or 14 more plays than they had against the Packers. The O-line's falling apart. Coaching decisions. Like I said, KOC was the coach of the year last year, but now it seems like, man, he is not making correct decisions at right times. And that coaching extends to special teams coaches. It's like, my goodness, Miles Price is doing great, and then he doesn't. And then, we have Tavier Thomas make 2 giant game-altering mistakes a few weeks ago. Just seems like special teams coaching is not up to snuff. That all leads into like, yeah, this sucks for this year, but this is the way the franchise looks now. We don't have, it's not like we're sitting here like, last year we were thinking, JJ will be back. Sam Darnold's doing really good this year, but JJ's going to be so much better. He was drafted in the first round. We don't have that hope for next year. It just, everything sucks. And that was my thorn for the game against the Packers. It was just culminated in that one game, which may have been the worst game we've seen as Vikings fans in a long, long time.
Let's just pile on to the fact that the Vikings have, like, I think, $51 million over the cap next year, too. Mm-hmm. Like, there are going to be some roster changes and contract negotiations that happen. I don't know. It's going to be really interesting to see what happens in the offseason. Also interesting, the Vikings currently have the 10th overall pick going into
that's the other thing. It's not even like we have the chance to be like, all right, well, we thought we'd be good this year, but at least they have the first overall pick, and I don't even know who's coming up in the draft. Like, I feel like we have some drafts, some years where it's like, hey man, suck for luck, and we start saying that in September because we know Andrew Luck's coming up and he's gonna be the first overall pick. Even Caleb Williams a few years ago, at this time of the year leading up to the draft, it's like, man, Caleb Williams, he's the uncontested first overall pick. Like, maybe a friend of the show, Forrest, was on, he'd be able to tell us like, yeah, it's totally gonna be this dude, but I don't know who that dude is. So just no hope.
I think there's a few college quarterbacks that are expected to go pretty high. I think the kid from Indiana, Mendoza, I think he's pretty good. And then I want to say Vanderbilt's quarterback.
I have no idea.
Diego Pavia, maybe. I've watched a little bit of college football.
You could have just made that up for all I know.
I don't know. Anyways, I think there are some quarterbacks coming up. I don't know if those guys are even first rounders. Probably not. I saw Drew Aller. He's the Penn State quarterback. He's projected to go in like the 5th or 6th round. But anyways, I think what's interesting about JJ McCarthy too, and I watched something on this today, is that he's kind of the runt of the litter in his draft class. Mm-hmm. Like, all those other guys are playing pretty well. Drake May playing pretty well. Mm-hmm. Bo Nix playing pretty well. Caleb Williams is now starting to figure it out in Chicago. And you had JJ McCarthy. Penix was a surprise pick because the Falcons had just gotten Kirk Cousins, and he took the starting job away from Cousins. Mm-hmm. And now he's hurt, so Kirk is playing again. But... yeah.
Jaden Daniels. He's been injured a little bit too, but Kirk Cousins, JJ McCarthy. He's just. It's not even that he's not as good as the other rookie quarterbacks in his class or quarterbacks in his draft class. It's that he's literally, without question, the worst quarterback in the league right now.
Yes.
Like I said earlier, every time I scrolled Twitter, I saw some play where he was terrible. Every other tweet I saw was another stat where it's like, nobody's had this bad of a stat in the last 50 years than JJ McCarthy has this year. I just keep seeing things like that where it's like, JJ's the worst quarterback in the league. And that's a lot different than he's still developing. There's a difference between he threw a couple picks, but there's some flashes and there's something there. And at least, the Browns have a worse quarterback. You know what I mean? It's just he's not even, there's injured quarterbacks on the Vikings that are Carson Wentz is better than JJ McCarthy right now, which is crazy because we were saying not 3 weeks ago, man, I'm so glad for Carson Wentz to be done. He should never play football for the Vikings ever again. You know what? Maybe he is way better than JJ.
It's funny how quickly we change our tune as fans of a team when things aren't going well. When things are great, I was looking back on some of my memories from Facebook and stuff from a year ago, and I posted something. It was that cool guy meme, that was the little piano music, and there's just the little cartoon dude who's just standing there. And every week I posted a graphic, or we posted on our accounts a graphic of wins and losses. And I think at this point the Vikings were 8-2 or 8-3 or something like that.
They had only lost, I think, were they back-to-back games?
They were back-to-back games, and
it was a 10-day stretch where they lost most of their games.
Yep. But boy, we were so high on the Vikings last year, and I think really the only question we had was well, what's going to happen next year? Because you had Daniel Jones on the roster, you had JJ McCarthy waiting in the wings. Sam Darnold was, I think, expected to kind of stay with the Vikings.
No, I think there was a lot of fans that were they can't let Sam Darnold walk now. And my whole thought was all right, Sam's been great, and I'm not mad about him, but you drafted JJ McCarthy for a reason. That's the plan, was Sam to be the bridge, no matter how well he's playing, and then JJ McCarthy to come in, and it was all culminated in the final 2 games of the season, the playoff game and the Week 18 game, where Sam Darnold, I saw another tweet with another stat about, I think, EPA per game or something like that. Sam Darnold against the Lions in Week 18 and then against the Rams in the playoff game, he played worse than JJ McCarthy has been playing right now, which is crazy to think. Those 2 games are why any rational fan didn't have any problem with the Vikings not fighting for everything to keep Sam Darnold. But for most of the season, there's no question he was playing elite.
He was playing really well. And I think the Vikings could have franchise tagged him, maybe gotten him, kind of on a bargain, kept him for the season this current season, what would have been next season if we were talking in last year's terms. You also had Daniel Jones, and it sounds like as the tea has kind of spilled on that, they offered Daniel Jones the biggest amount that any team offered Daniel Jones, but they told him you're going to have to win the job from JJ McCarthy.
I'm sure they just told him you're our QB2, JJ is the guy, not even it'll be an open competition.
Right.
They probably, I don't know what he got from the Colts this year. I think it's 14 or something million. Maybe the Vikings offered him 15, 16 or 14.5 or whatever it was. But I don't blame Daniel Jones for turning that down either, because he saw a very struggling Anthony Richardson and was at least there's a competition there.
Right.
And if I lose an open competition, that's one thing. But again, I don't blame the Vikings either for being hey, JJ's our guy, because you drafted him 10th overall. And up until, he got injured, everything you said and saw was that, hey, JJ, he's the future, and we're going to give him every chance to be the future. Hindsight is 20/20. We'd love to have Daniel Jones right now. We'd love to have Sam Darnold right now, but we don't. And up until they announced this phantom concussion, a reporter asked him, I just want to make it clear, was JJ diagnosed with a concussion? And KOC's answer was pretty much like, well, he was reporting those symptoms and he was evaluated, and we just decided, with the medical staff, just decided it was best to put him in the protocol. KOC did not say, no, he wasn't diagnosed, but we're just being cautious, or, yeah, he was diagnosed. He didn't say that at all. It was just, there's symptoms and he's in the protocol. This is a soft benching.
Which is interesting because I said that about the ankle thing early on in the season. I said, this is a soft benching because we saw him play 2 games and he played 2 quarters well out of 8. Mm-hmm. And he played the last quarter against the Bears and the first quarter, week 2, whoever we played that week.
The Falcons.
Yeah. And then the Falcons game was miserable. That was such an awful
game. That was
game.
A similar miserable feeling than the Packers game. It just wasn't as bad because it's the Packers. You don't want to lose like that. But I was pounding the table like, no, soft benching's ridiculous. Like, KOC is not going to just, if he's going to do that, he's going to say, hey, we're going to, sit him down for a little bit. He's not quite ready. But now that I'm seeing this, and I'm absolutely in the camp that this concussion, even if it's a real, fully fledged, real concussion, one, I hope JJ's okay. It's a head injury. You don't love that. But 2, it's maybe KOC is getting some pushback and he wants to bench him. I don't know, all speculation, but it's hard to bench your franchise quarterback, 18 games after, 20 games after he was drafted, and still save face. So being able to say he's injured, he can't play. This kind of reminds me of a time where Christian Ponder was getting kind of soft benched, and they determined at one point he had cracked ribs. Just out of nowhere, he just showed up on the injury report with a rib injury, and they said, hey, we think they might be broken. This could be serious. We don't want you to puncture a lung. And he was suddenly had a rib injury out of nowhere, and there was no one play where it's like, yep, that's where he got it. I think people have shown on Twitter, we think we know kind of where JJ got hit.
I saw the play.
He was rushing the ball and then got tackled, and he kind of held his arms out like that for a split second, which you see guys get bad concussions and they freeze up. Well, it's kind of scary.
I think it was Keyshawn Nixon for the Packers hit his own teammate on the sideline and kind of had that stiff motion and then just fell over, and I think he was okay.
Yeah, he missed the rest of the game, but
I think he was okay. But yeah, he did miss the rest of the game. But anyways, I'm fully aware of when they lock up like that. There's definitely some sort of brain, spinal cord, something
neurological something
happened, and it's scary. You don't like to see it. I did see too in one of the clips. He immediately took a whiff of a smelling salt.
Oh, I didn't see that.
He must have had one in his pouch or something. He got up from that hit and just, all right, let's go. We're ready.
No, I didn't see that. That's funny. But what I was saying before all this is I think, maybe there is a legit concussion. And again, if there is, I hope he's okay. It's a brain injury. You don't love that. But on some level, Kevin O'Connell might be breathing a little bit of a sigh of relief. Okay, we can sit him down, real injury or not, and just get him out of the fire for a minute and get him away and try to do something else. Because at some point, it's less about we're benching him, and it's more about we got to try something different, because you can't have a quarterback play as bad as he did against the Packers and confidently keep going week in, week out. It's a definition of insanity. He was awful against the Packers. And I've seen some people break down film and say it actually wasn't as bad as you think. He had something here, but then he lost, the offensive lineman got blown up. But I don't care if it was actually as bad as it looked. He didn't do anything to make it look better than it should have. He wasn't elevating the team. He was just not, he was going down with the ship.
Well, I come back to what I said towards the beginning of Roses and Thorns, is that the running game was really strong. And I think the commitment to the run game did a few things. I think it kept Micah Parsons at bay. Mm-hmm. He was not a factor until the second half. He didn't get home to J.J. McCarthy until the second half. And then it just, the running game kept everything balanced, and that's when JJ, I think, looked the most comfortable. He still didn't look great. He didn't look super comfortable ever. I really don't know that I've seen him look comfortable at all.
Nope.
In any game that I've watched him play this year. But I don't know, with a young guy like that who's trying to figure it out, you got to stick with the run game, and you got to give him a chance to kind of catch his breath, look out, and read the defense, and then be able to just hand the ball off to the next guy and live to survive another down. And the Vikings were running the ball decently, 4 or 5 yards a carry. You do that 3 plays in a row, that's a first down every time.
Jordan Mason averaged 5.3. He had 42 yards. Aaron Jones averaged 4.6. He had 41 yards, and JJ threw in another 10 yards in there. They had 93 yards rushing through the whole game, and a lot of those were first half yards. But while it is a frustration that they ultimately started going away from the running game, I think that was just dictated by the score. I mean, eventually you just can't, when you're down 17 points, you can't keep being dedicated to the run game. And also it doesn't help when, one thing that leads to losing that scoring battle is when you have not even a muffed punt, but a just totally boneheaded punt return situation where you give the Packers the ball right back around the 5-yard line. Like, it was just a frustrating game, and one that hopefully, if JJ does miss some time, again, hope he's okay, but it probably wouldn't be the worst thing to have him miss some time. And for himself, for his development, take a break, take a pause. And if Max Brosmer comes in, he can't be worse. He could only really be as bad because JJ was putting up record numbers that people weren't playing as bad as that for 50 years. So Brosmer could only, the worst thing he could do is play as bad as JJ. And then that's a huge indictment on the coaching and everything. And then you're right back where you were, after losing to Green Bay. You're back with JJ or looking at the draft or whatever. But Brosmer could come in and look not terrible. Not even good or great, but just not terrible. And that would be such a breath of fresh air.
It would. It would for sure. Game ball. Who are you giving a game ball to?
I know I gushed over Will Reichard earlier, and I think he, would be deserving. But as far as on the field, and I know scoring points is the most important thing, but on the field throughout the motion of the game, for me it was Jalen Redmond. He seemed to be the most consistent one, making tackles for loss, showing up and getting in people's faces, and also just the fact that he shouldn't have as much expectations as he's now earning because he came from such a low spot, and he's consistently all season been really good and really refreshing, and that didn't stop in the Green Bay game. He made an impact and did pretty well. I'm trying to find his overall stats now as I'm looking.
6 total tackles, 4 solo, and then 1 tackle for loss, 1 pass defended, 1 quarterback hit.
Yep, yeah, just solid. And yeah, other players had more tackles and other players had more sacks and stuff, but I think as an overall well-rounded function, Jalen Redmond, at least for me, he was good enough to get the game ball for me.
The Vikings only had 1 sack, which I think the broadcast crew, Joe Davis and Greg Olson, were kind of pointing out, this Brian Flores defense is just not playing to the standard that they've played the last couple of seasons, and it's weird. Dallas Turner did get home once, which was nice. But
there was another time where I think, was it Eric Wilson blitzed, and he was dead to rights, totally. I think it was Eric Wilson. Just totally had Jordan Love dead to rights, just all out blitz. Nobody touched him, and Love just out of nowhere, credit to him, just kind of threw it up. And I think he knew who and where he was throwing it to, but just kind of threw it up right before he got hit. And it was like a 3rd and long, 3rd and 8, 9, something like that. And it was caught by, I think, Wicks for the Packers for first down. And a play that 9 times out of 10, if that play starts off exactly the same way, Eric Wilson gets home and at least bats the ball down, or at least, does enough to make it an incomplete pass. But something that could have been a sack ended up, credit to Jordan Love and the Packers, ended up being a first down catch on a drive that I guess I don't remember, probably ended up in points somehow. But yeah, this defense has been almost there all season. And I can go off on another rant, which I guess I don't really need to. But did you even say who you said was your game ball?
I put question marks next to both of the guys, just because it's just like, I don't know. Like, this game was rough. Will the Thrill was the first one. He was one of your roses, and I definitely agree with that, and I could give him a game ball easily. He scored the only points that the Vikings scored all day, and he did it from 50-plus yards, which is no small feat in the NFL. He's clutch. He's so good. I'm glad to have a really good kicker like that. We just need to get an offense that can get him to where he can be kicking game winners instead of just 6 points in a loss to the Packers on the road. So, and then the other one, I think he got a game ball from me last week too, but Blake Cashman, he just continues to be the leader of the defense. I think we are slowly seeing the fading of Harrison Smith.
It's not slow.
he had one tackle.
Yeah,
he had one tackle yesterday. I think he's pretty much phased out, and he might still be kind of a leader in the locker room and in the safety room during the week, but Jordan Mason has really not Jordan Mason. Blake Cashman. I don't know where that even came from.
You probably just saw Jordan Mason's name somewhere.
I probably read it. Yeah. Anyways, Blake Cashman just continues to be kind of the cornerstone of this defense. He led the team in tackles. He is the green dot. They feel it when he's not on the field. Oh my gosh, yeah. So, yeah, I think he's deserving as well.
Yeah, not bad. Hard to argue with at all. What you said about Harrison Smith, I think, we are seeing the end, to the point that at one point during the game, Josh Metellus went hurt down, and it looked like a knee, but I think they were saying shoulder. But either way, he got twice. Hurt, and it looked really bad. The one that looked really bad that he waved for the medical team. You texted me and said, "Oh, is it Theo Jackson time?" And I think I replied something like, "It's probably like Jay Ward, because we see Theo Jackson all the time now with Harrison Smith not being in every play." That was all a long way of saying I think Harrison Smith. And I don't know if it's a snap count, because if you remember last year, it was kind of the same thing for 2024. Leading up to the season, it was like, hey, he's coming back. We got Harrison Smith again, and it's going to be great. And they even said, he's going to kind of be on a pitch count. We're not going to use him all the time anymore.
But he still played a lot.
And then he ended up still playing 60, 70 plays a game, every defensive play a game. And then we talked about it, geez, this guy's playing a lot, and pretty well too. And that's just not the case anymore this year. Not that he's been a huge liability, but just he's not been out there, which is a liability in itself.
Yep. I don't know. Is there anything else that we want to talk about? I feel like we've just been negative Nancy's over here.
Well, one more thing. Ryan Wright, the punter.
Oh, yeah.
4 punts, 222 yards, a long of a 59. Both Will Reichard and Ryan Wright had a long of a 59 at one point.
The specialists of special teams, the kicking specialists, we should say, are great, I think.
They've been doing good. Ryan Wright has been, I think even last year was...
Pro Bowl.
Yeah, really, really good. Other than that, there's not much good that came from that game. That one awesome catch from Justin Jefferson. I think another thing that's good about Justin Jefferson is we haven't gotten to the point yet where he's tweeting weird things or openly complaining a la A.J. Brown in the locker room and stuff. We're still getting, you can tell he's frustrated, but everybody's frustrated. But at least we're still getting things from Justin Jefferson like, I'm a captain and we just got to keep working. I know he said something like, it really sucks to keep saying the same things every week. We got to fix these things and things aren't great. But at least he's not saying I wish I could get the ball, or just diva things. We're still not to that point. But as great as Justin Jefferson is, everybody probably has that limit where it's it'd be nice. And for me, the only other silver lining is you don't ever root for somebody to be injured, especially somebody on your own team. But at least there's a sliver of hope for me now with not even for Max Brosmer necessarily, but just to try something different than J.J. McCarthy. It has been pounding our head against the wall. Whether it's fully his fault or not, he's the quarterback. And like he said a few weeks ago, he's responsible for everything that happens on the football field. You got to try something different. How many times have we seen football games, high school, college, NFL, whatever, and they make a quarterback change and it sparks something? Not, perfect every time, but shoot, we even saw it with the Pastronaut era. It sparked something that wasn't poor performance from Kirk is why the Pastronaut was brought in, because he was injured. But there was some spark there, and it quickly dissolved, and it was still, a loss of a season. But yeah, maybe Max Brosmer. This is my only silver lining left, is that maybe Brosmer can do something different. And we have a heck of a talker if Brosmer comes out and looks great. And it's one thing if he kind of does what Carson Wentz did and is like, oh, he's fine. But if he comes out and does 3 touchdowns, 300 yards, it's like, hold on here. We got something to talk about. But that's for hopefully another podcast.
So what is the way forward? Like if you were Kevin O'Connell, what does the rest of the season look like? Like I think I already know what you would say, what this coming week looks like going to Seattle. I think you would say Brosmer is the starter, 100%. You don't put JJ out there.
Yeah.
The concussion thing, it is what it is, whether it's real or not, whether it's a soft benching or not. You ride that media wave till it's dead, and Brosmer's the starter, at least for a week. But what about the remaining, I don't know, how many weeks is it? Like 4 weeks, 5 weeks of the season?
7 games left.
7 games, okay. So for the remaining 6 games after that, what happens?
Or is it 6 games left? What are they now? 4 and 7? Yeah, they're 4. So 6 games left.
6 games total. So 1 game I think is already kind of spoken for. This one against the Seahawks. It remains to be seen, but I think I know what your answer would be, and that's what I'm getting to. The remaining 5.
Yeah. So first off, the picture of the 2025 NFL season. As of right now, the Vikings are not mathematically eliminated from the playoffs. I think there still would be a route if the Vikings won out and then certain teams lost/won certain games. There could still be a route for the Vikings to sneak in out of nowhere. So until you're mathematically eliminated, you can never really rule everything out. But, we're realistic here. I don't think either of us think the Vikings have any actual chance of making the playoffs.
I don't.
But that's step 1 is you'd have to win out. Like that's just the thing that would have to happen, and that's tough. It's tough any year to win 6 games in a row, especially for a team like this that has had nothing all season. But yeah, I think when you head to Seattle, I truly, and I'm annoyed that I think this way, that I think that this is a soft benching, because usually I'm the guy that's like, no, NFL teams, they're playing and coaching for their lives, and they're not messing around with, he's not really hurt, or he is really hurt, but he's not really, like, they just say it, they say it the way it is, or they don't say anything at all. It's not like when teams are like, I think we're going to start, they don't announce a quarterback starting, and then a minute before the game, they're like, actually, never mind, it's a different guy. They usually say like, I'm not going to announce who's starting. Like, they don't lie usually. It's just they don't tell the truth. So I think what's actually happening here is that this is a soft benching, and I'm annoyed for thinking that, but I get it. I get why KOC would do that. And I think you roll with Brosmer. It's an opportunity to, even though we all know that he's not super injured, but it's an opportunity to sit JJ down and not totally write him off for the rest of his career. It's still early. We're 20-some games into his career, and I know people want to say, we're only 6 games, but no, we're not. We're 20 games into his career. It's just he hasn't been healthy enough to be a part of those. So you roll with Max Brosmer, and maybe he is the one that something clicks. Maybe that's where the quarterback guru comes out, and it's like, oh yeah, man, how bad is JJ McCarthy? Because Kevin O'Connell did something with everybody else. For Seattle, Max Brosmer for sure, and then it's week to week. If it gets bad enough, concussions heal out of nowhere. So I don't know. Either way, I think 2025 is lost. I don't know that anybody gets fired. KOC and Kwesi, I don't think they're getting fired. People on Twitter have loved pointing out that the recent extensions both of them signed this offseason technically haven't even kicked in yet. Like the money in the years haven't even kicked in on those extensions. So love it or hate it, they're here. And so is JJ. But
I have an idea. Are you ready for this?
Yes.
This is some fortune cookie wisdom for you right here. Hear me out. You cut JJ McCarthy.
I've seen this tweet and I know where you're going.
Finish. No, this is an original idea. I'm just kidding. You cut JJ, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you re-sign him and he becomes this project. And then everything's good again because KOC has a project to work on.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Could be worth something there.
Yeah. I saw that tweet where it's like, yeah, if you cut him, then he's a bust. And KOC, all he does with busts is turn him around. And there you go. He's problem solved.
I laughed really hard when I saw that. I think I sent it to you,
You
too.
did. I'm pretty sure you texted it to me. Yeah, I don't think anyone significant gets fired. I think you could see a Brian Flores finally say, like, all right, I will take that other job. Like, he might just be gone, which was probably going to happen anyways. This was probably going to be Brian Flores' last year with the Vikings anyways. It's just now it's like, all right, we weren't 5 seconds away from the Super Bowl this year, so I'll go see what I can do as a head coach somewhere else. And he'd probably get more opportunity the further he gets away from suing the league. I don't know. How do you feel about anything I just said? Do you agree? Do you disagree? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think I agree. And it's tough, right? It's a tough path forward. There's almost no right answer. And I think, unfortunately, someone will have to kind of take the fall for it.
Yeah.
Is it Kwesi or KOC? I don't know. Probably not. I think ownership has a lot of faith in them to do their jobs, but Kwesi hasn't drafted well historically, and I think that's going to be probably a big performance review thing for him with ownership coming up in the next couple of years. Is like, hey, you gotta draft better, or we're gonna have to move on and find a GM that can actually find talent in the draft, because the draft, I think, hate it or love it, it is still kind of the bread and butter way to add talent to your team.
Yeah.
You draft and develop players. You don't just cherry pick free agents from other teams. You draft and develop. The Packers have done it for years. Plenty of other organizations are doing it as well, and I think that's the best way forward. And I'm not a big fan of tanking, but I wouldn't be opposed to seeing the Vikings lose a few more games, secure a high draft pick, and do something in the draft this year. Even if that's trading away, even if it's not even if they don't keep that high first rounder, even if they trade away that first rounder, I don't know. They could stockpile some more picks later on in the draft. They could recoup some of this 51 plus over the cap that they have and kind of balance the books for next season a little bit with something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I do think one more silver lining in the whole JJ McCarthy thing is they didn't give up future first-round picks to get him. So we're not sitting here saying, and on top of everything, we don't have the next 2 years first-round picks, because
they were ready to do for
Drake May
or Bo Nix, one of the two.
Well, Bo Nix was there when they drafted.
True.
They could have easily. Yep. But, it sounded like Drake May, if you believe what Twitter says, they had a package on the table for 3 first-round picks plus more, to be able to trade up with the Patriots to number 3 and get Drake May, apparently. But again, it sounds plausible and it's probably true, but you can never truly believe everything unless it comes from the mouth of the GM, and even then it's I don't know. But yeah, I just think there's no hope there's very little hope left for this year. But what we can do now is hope either Max Brosmer turns into something, or if JJ gets back on the field, which theoretically he might not miss any time. We're still sitting here hours after KOC announced that JJ was in the protocol, not that he announced JJ had season-ending injury. You know, like he may start against the Seahawks. We don't know. But it seems like it's Brosmer time. Maybe we'll see some flash, and there's at least something to watch. And if Brosmer's terrible, then we're just back in the situation we are right this moment, where it's like, there's no hope. Maybe they'll find something next year.
So let's look ahead to Seattle. Let's close this thing out. Let's talk about that game. We both picked this as a loss, so I think that's kind of good news for us, given the trajectory of the team right now.
For the purple punishments.
Yep. So if the Vikings lose, we will not have to spin the wheel because that's what we picked. But if somehow they pull out a victory in Seattle, we're going to be spinning the wheel again next week. This is a historic year for the wheel. We've had to spin a lot, more than we have.
So when I looked up the stats for this game, it was prior to J.J. McCarthy being, announced that he's in the protocol. And at that time,
they were 8.5.
They were
underdogs.
8.5-point underdogs. Seattle was favored by 8.5. Right now, the Vikings are 10.5-point underdogs, which kind of tells you what Vegas thinks about J.J. McCarthy versus Max Brosmer, because that's the only thing that has changed that I can tell, is that J.J. McCarthy might not play. So Brosmer is apparently way worse than that, which I get. He's been the backup. He hasn't been on the field, and the Vikings have chosen McCarthy over Brosmer every other week. So, do you think the Vikings cover? Do you think they lose by less than 11 points?
Nope. I think they lose by a lot. I'm not even going to give a score prediction.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be the same or worse as the Packers.
Yeah, I agree. I did give a score prediction. I think, and again, this was before the McCarthy news, but I think it's going to be something like 42-10 Seahawks. Could have easily been that against the Packers, but I honestly don't think the Packers are world beaters this year. They're not like the team to beat. They're not playing like the Rams are right now, and they kicked the crap out of the Buccaneers last night. They're obviously better than the Vikings at this moment, but so is everybody else, and so has every other quarterback been for the last 5 decades. So
I have JSN in fantasy right now, and he's helping me out a lot. Not as much as Jahmyr Gibbs. Jahmyr Gibbs had like 50-some points yesterday, which was wild for the Lions. But JSN still got me like 37 points, and I had Sam Darnold on the bench. I'm kind of thinking of putting Sam Darnold in next week.
Yeah.
Get the double dipping there with your quarterback throwing those touchdowns to Jackson Smith and Jigba.
You're a true fan of.
Hey.
All right. I think... we talked for way longer than I thought we would about this terrible, awful team and how much they hate us and how much they love to make us feel terrible and awful. One thing that is the exact opposite of terrible and awful has been this beer, the Charlie's Brown Ale. It's the Great Pumpkin Spiced Brown Ale from Reunion and Field Day. Did we decide whose it actually is?
I think it's Reunion's beer that Field Day helped with.
Got it. Yeah, this can art does, even like the description and the wordage does scream Reunion. So it's even brewed and canned at Reunion. So yeah, either way, I feel both of these breweries I've only ever had good beers from. I've enjoyed both of them. We need to get ourselves over to Field Day because they're probably the closest of the faraway breweries for us. Maybe 7 Hills South now. They might be a little bit closer, but yeah, this beer, I liked it a lot. I really like that. And similar to the one that we had, 10 episodes ago, was it Back Pocket
pumpkin ale.
Yeah, that pumpkin ale and this one are both like pumpkin patch, fall flavored ales that are not just a sweet piece of pumpkin pie stuffed in a can, which I wouldn't have liked. I like this way. It's more of a fall spice beer, a darker beer. I like it a lot. What'd you think?
I like it a lot too. Sam Adams always puts out a fall seasonal pack, like a mixed pack, and they always include their jack-o'-lantern pumpkin ale, which I try one every year when I buy it, and I'm like, nope, still don't like it.
Yeah, that one is kind of in the realm of
because
pumpkin pie.
It's just like way too sweet, way too rich. This is not that. This is really just the spices that they described on the can of like nutmeg, ginger juice, vanilla. That's what stands out to me more than the pumpkin. And the nutmeg, I think, reminds me of a pumpkin pie a little bit.
Yeah,
so I get a little pumpkin from that. But it's warm, it's homey. It would be a great beer to have for Thanksgiving. So if you're looking for a good one, get this Reunion Charlie's Brown Ale. Super good.
Yeah, good job, Field Day and Reunion. Thank you for making such a great beer. If you, listener, have tried this one, let us know what you think of it. If you can think of another beer that you either hate because it's, a pumpkin pie stuffed in a can, or that you love because it's, perfect blend of fall beer, let us know in the comments. With that said, if you want to keep the conversation going, you can find us anywhere on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, obviously YouTube, Spotify, anywhere you can comment. Drop us a comment. Let us know that you're listening, where you're listening from, and what you like about us. And definitely don't forget to like and subscribe and leave a review anywhere you can, because definitely helps. And if you like us, then you probably know other people that would like us as well. Evan, did I miss anything, or was there anything we wanted to hash out before we closed out this episode?
I think there's just one thing that we both need to do, though, before we end this episode.
Take these freaking jerseys off?
Yes.
Yeah. We didn't. I said we were going to mention it again, but we never did. We were wearing these jerseys because of the purple punishments. Something hopefully we will not be subject to again next week. But if we do, it means the Vikings won, and we can only be so mad about that.
I won't be mad about that at all. I'll happily spin the wheel and eat a jar of pickles.
Or something spicy.
Yeah, well, that too.
All right, hopefully we never have to wear those jerseys again. Evan, this episode is just what I needed after such a terrible loss. I hope this made your birthday just a teeny little bit better. Thanks for helping me hash out this game.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Ditto.
Great beer.
Maybe best episode yet.
Skol.
Skol.